Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you are having a good weekend. Now, this is sort of a market view because the markets are getting so confusing. It's very important that we look at different time frames and what is going on there. On Friday, let's start with the S&P 500. The S&P 500 found support at about 3700. Now, my sense is that all markets are now getting into ranges, which in other words is called consolidation. There is talk of a further 3 trillion stimulus, but that is only talk right now. So for the moment, markets are likely to have upswings and downswings and upswings and downswings. And this is where we have to be careful as we learn, uh, you know, ahead. So for the moment, let me request you to like, share, subscribe this channel, and your support and encouragement means a lot. On the other hand, on memberships, we have on offer platinum, gold, silver, diamond with different products for different risk preferences and different time frames. WhatsApp 98710663337 or email ashwani_gujaral @yahoo.com, or just straight away go and click on the join button to the YouTube channel and do the formalities. Now, let's talk about the Nifty. Let me use the other package to talk about the Nifty, where I have drawn certain. Okay, so this is, let's go to 1 hour chart. And you can see here on the Nifty, you can draw this kind of a box. This box basically started from before the budget. I think post budget action was a bit of a outlier. So broadly, the range right now is about 14,700 to 15,200. On a bad day, you will find 14,700. On a very good day, you will find 15,200. And I believe that for the foreseeable future, this range should not get broken. Basically, what this range is doing is that it is creating a winding up pattern on the large indices. And once a market is wound up in this manner, as and when triggers come in, it also expands on the upside. Now, how do we deal with this winding up of the market? Basically, you need to identify the two edges of the market, and there will be times when you go beyond these edges. So, this is where you have to become careful and you take the other side, and often the market crashes back. Why that will happen is because the dollar index is now rising above 92, which is EM negative. Crude is at 69.5, the Brent crude that is relevant for us. Bond yield is still 1.577. So all of these things at the right levels will come to bite you. And whenever they cool down and the market is at oversold levels, it will tend to rally sharply higher. So this is not, in my opinion, your market which went up, corrected, went up, corrected, went up, corrected. This is more in this sort of a format where when you get past the boundaries, you have to take the other side till the market starts to narrow. What will happen is that the market will start to narrow like a triangle. And once it has narrowed enough, it will show you that sort of breakout. But broadly, you will at some point get these extremes as well. So now let's understand what the pivots are doing. On the pivot, you have the daily, the weekly pivot at 14,950. You have the daily pivot at 14,964. So both these pivots are together. So 14,950 for the coming week is the strong support. 15,250, which is marginally above our box, is the target. Above this, I would be very surprised to see levels. What will happen at 15,260 is that crude will go on the boil or dollar index will rise very sharply and you will tend to get your gap downs, etc. happening. So we are closer to the upper end of the range. So that is what is relevant for us. But for your intraday player, what is relevant is that we are going to open above the daily R1, 15,060 thereabouts. And from there, we get a rally towards 15,200. So the person who wants a large move waits for 15,200, 250. And the person who wants the intraday move waits for basically the upper end of the broader range to take short positions. Now let's look at the option chain. See here at 15,000, there is massive call build up, about 30,000 contracts. 20,000 of them were added on Friday. The next relevant one is 15,300. 50% contracts were added on Friday. Okay, so this way there is massive call build up. The put side is a bit lighter at 15,000. You have a 24,000 type of build up. So while the market shows that it is finding support at lower levels, the put buildup is not very confident as the market would show. So the thought process here should be that the markets are going in these upswings and downswings and upswings, and right now we are somewhere in the middle of this range, and from where we could have this upswing and everybody gets very positive at the upper end of the range, and then the market goes down on you. So the important bit about this video is that we have turned sideways, and now expecting new highs is probably not the way to go. Bank Nifty, again, if you leave out this budget madness, from basically January onwards, we have had the market moving sideways in this 35,000 to 36, 550, 36, 600 type of zone. Now here we are at the bottom end of the range. So this is at a different place compared to the Nifty, and maybe it's in that sense looking better than the Nifty, although inflation etc. is going to hurt the Bank Nifty more. That is the reason it is underperforming. But what is key is that on Bank Nifty, the winding up is happening in a more significant manner than the Nifty, and finally this will also rally because crude is a cyclical thing, and once crude starts to cool off, chances are that the Bank Nifty could also move up, but this could take some time in happening. So till then, the trade idea is that if you get 36,500, you sell. If you get 35,000, you buy, and any sort of breakout beyond these levels will lead to large upside. So for this week, I don't think the large upsides are on the table. What is on the table is the clear consolidation, and that way, from a very intraday type of view, we have weekly Bank Nifty pivots at 35,500. If we start to trade above 35,500, you could see another 500-700 points on the upside, but basically within the 1,500 point range from 35,000 to 36,500. Target could be 36,158. That could be the target. Anything above 36,000 should work out as a target. See, on the daily, this R1 is about 35, 500, 600. So again, The weekly pivot and the daily R1 is matching. So this is your breakout zone if you have to take an intraday long position. But be very careful because Bank Nifty being the weaker index, what you want to do is the Bank Nifty moving up and consolidating and then moving up further. It is possible that because of crude, etc., banks open gap up but start to sell off. But overall, my expectation would be that a 36,200 type of rally should be achievable on Bank Nifty. Now let's go to the option chain. Almost 20,000 calls at 35,500 and 14,000 of them were added on Friday. Okay, 35,000 is the call writing on 36,000 and 18,000 were added on Friday. You know, the pressure is on the downside. There shouldn't be any question about this, and unlikely that we are going to cross above the upper end of the range. Meanwhile, in comparison, you have hardly 17,000 puts at 35,000. 34,500 is hardly 12,000. The put side is lighter. So that's why I'm saying that while on an intraday basis, you can look to take some long trades, but the big trade is at the upper end of the range and on the short side. What is the difference between intraday and positional? See, the intraday guy is happy with 80 to 100 points on Nifty and basically 300 points on Bank Nifty. But if you want to make large money, then you have to operate at big levels. I have given you the big levels 15,700, and when I say that there is a margin of 100 points, so 15,700, 800 to 15,200, 300. And similarly, Bank Nifty 35,000 to 36,500. Okay, and the best moves will happen when the market goes on either side of these big levels and fails. So that should be it for the moment. I think we have discussed everything. Important bit is that this is a market in consolidation. So while you may get your intraday swings on the upside and downside, overall, I think we will remain in a range, and there are significant negatives also, but the negative will impact you at the higher end of the range, and at the lower end of the range, chances are that there will be a short squeeze. So this sort of very careful game needs to be played in order to be able to make money. Crude sensitives are going to be in trouble tomorrow. So whatever gets hurt by high crude prices could be, tire stocks, paint stocks, etc. They could be in trouble. Meanwhile, Reliance ONGC could do well, and because of inflation concerns, the bank nifty may still underperform. But in case US markets, the futures, etc., open well, then there is a possibility of having a 2 3 day type of rally. But within ranges, don't take weakness too seriously and don't take strength too seriously, because both may be transitory. So chances are that at higher end of the nifty range, you will see selling, and the upper end of the bank nifty range is continuously shifting down. So possibly this week, this downside range could shift even lower. So you may have great amount of difficulty in even getting past this, last week high or Thursday's high about 36,200. So keep these levels in mind and take care, trade well, and please consult your financial advisor.